With Christmas well and truly on its way, I'm going to be showing you how to make a Christmas wreath. The items you'll need to make your Christmas wreath are a 12-inch diameter frame. You can either make one yourself using copper wire, or for ease I have one here ready-made. Some scissors, some mossing wire, some stub wires, eucalyptus, some hypericum berries, thistles, and items to decorate the wreath with. The materials I'm going to be using are just a personal preference. It's completely up to you which items you decide to use. For these materials you can find them in a local florist, or you can even use items from your garden such as conifer or holly. You can also go into a B&Q store and see which seasonal plants we have. So for the first step I'm going to be adding the moss to the ring. That's going to be your base. So I have here sphagnum moss. You need to make sure that this moss is nice and fresh. It's quite damp, but that's great to make the base, because if it's too dry, it's going to be really flaky. So what we'll do is we add the wire to the ring. So you just need to attach it at the top, and then this is going to be used to attach all of the moss. So now that the wire is attached to the frame, you just need to grab a handful of the moss and just place it on top of the frame. You need quite a big handful because, like I said, this is going to be the base. So it's quite messy, but you just pop it on top of the frame, and then you just, with the wire, you just wrap it round. You need to be careful with the moss because you might find some bits of twig and branches in the moss, so it's good just to clean it a little bit before you start the wreath making. So when you've gone round a couple of times and that wire is really tight and it's all compact, you're ready then to start adding your foliage. You might want to cut off a few of the stray bits, but don't worry, it doesn't need to be really neat, because as I said, this is just your base and you'll be adding all the other materials onto it. So I'm going to start by adding the foliage, which is eucalyptus. So if you put all the foliage going in one direction, you'll then get that nice circular shape. So it's literally a case of just inserting it into the moss. One tip is that you should cut the foliage at a slight angle just so it inserts a little bit easier. So it's quite a long process, but you just need to keep adding and it will eventually get there. Okay, so you don't need to fill the wreath completely because you will be adding in the other materials, but just remember you can take bits out, so if you do want to cover it to begin with. That's all the foliage added to the wreath, and now I'm ready to add the thistles and the berries. You don't worry about filling the whole frame. It's quite nice to see some of the moss, I think. So I've decided to use thistles just because they dry really nicely, as does the eucalyptus. The berries may not last as long, but you can always take them out and leave just the eucalyptus and thistles. So like I said, you can use any flowers and foliage that you wish. You can tailor it to the colour scheme that you're going for this Christmas. If they don't go into the moss very well, you can always wire them, which is why I have this stub wire here. So it's just a case of wrapping the wire around the stem and then around itself. Just then you can get it inserted into the moss easier. Okay. Again, make sure you cut the stems at a diagonal angle just so it goes in easier. Okay, so the thistles are now in place. I'm going to place in the berries. So I've used a nice festive red colour just to give it a bit of pop of colour. Okay, so I've added the berries now. As you can see, I've left a few gaps for the decorations, and also I just quite like the look of the moss, so I've left some of that on show. You can add as much or as little as you want. Also, like I said, any colours, any different materials that you want to use. So I'll run through the different decorations I have here. I won't be using them all, but just to give you an idea of what you can do for yours. I have here a bow that I've made just out of some hessian material. You could also use some raffia, which you can buy in store. So just make the bow and then just attach some wire to the back of the bow so it can go insert into the moss. So that would be quite nice at the bottom there. I have some tree decorations. These are just some wooden decorations that I've just snipped off the ribbon and added some wire on there. Some baubles, very traditional. Again, all you need to do with these is just grab a bit of stub wire and just pop it through the top there. Just be very careful when you're using these wires as they are quite sharp. But if you just twist the wire, it's then ready to go into the wreath. And then also some dried fruit is also a lovely option. It smells very nice too. So with this, again, you would just use the stub wire and just work it through. It's a bit difficult sometimes, but you do just need to find where the gaps are. So straight through the middle and bring that wire up again and twist. And that would then just go into the wreath wherever you like. Right, it's time for decoration, and I've decided to use the wooden tree decorations and the hessian bow. So it's basically wherever you think it will look nice, just place with the wire into the moss. So this, I think these just go quite nicely with the colours of the foliage and flowers I've used. Okay, so with the wreath complete, it is now time to display. You have a couple of options. You could either tie some ribbon around the top of the wreath and then pin it onto a door, but do be careful, and also you might not want it to mark your door. So the other option is to buy a wreath hanger from in-store. I have here a silver one or a plain one, plain clear one. Now an option with this is again to buy some raffia in-store and just wrap it round. But they are very easy to use, and you literally just hook it underneath. Be careful of your decorations, and then it is ready to hang.